So also after speaking with the customer, they were kind enough to, provide a couple of like rough sketches of some other possible concepts that they would like to see so they can make a final decision between the logos. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a place to drop in those sketches that they provided. Please don't laugh. This customer is not a illustrator or graphic designer, but I was very appreciative that they took the time to uh, point me in the right direction. I'm sure, other graphic designers have struggled with getting a sense of direction from their customer, but the customer is more than happy just to say, no, I don't like that. Nope, 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 don't like that, don't like that. But when you ask them to kind of give you an idea of what they may like, they just say, I don't know, you're the creative individual or you're the designer. That's what I'm paying you for. So, yeah. And it's like, I understand that, but, we could save a lot of time and headache and energy if you kind of just point me in the right direction. So, with that being said, we're going to kind of take these two designs here and polish them up and see if that is a little bit closer to what the customer likes. So, Uh, these appear to be two tees with an 8 ball, and then the pool cue kind of coming up the middle. And then, of course, here you've got your two tees kind of interlocked here, and inside what appears to be an 8 ball, table up top, time at the bottom. So let's start with the top one up here first. What I'm going to do is try and set this up in somewhat of a triangle shape just to kind of keep everything clean and um, asymmetrical, if you will. So I'm just going to draw a square, and then I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Rotate 45 degrees. And this is a trick I like to do to try and get a perfect triangle. So hit OK. And then let's reduce the size of this a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to do a rectangle. I'm going to select both of these, and then in my Pathfinder, I'm going to do the exclude option. So now that's been excluded. I do my double click to isolate this object, delete that, and you have a triangle. So what I want to do here is extend the bottom of this. So I've got my direct selection tool, the white arrow, and I've selected this point or anchor down here, and I'm just going to go straight down. And Illustrator is um, very convenient in the fact that this pink line here kind of keeps you on track. So if you're going down and you get off to the side and that line disappears, you're off center to the left or to the right. But if you still see that pink line, then you pretty much know you're still on track. And that gives me a very clean centered triangle. And we're going to use that to kind of build our logo inside of, because to me it kind of seems like it's fitting in it could fit inside of here. So I'm just going to kind of play around with this a little bit and see what the best way is to put this together. So I'm going to do a Control C, Control V. This is my backup over here, just in case I need to come back to that shape and I don't want to do a Control Z 1,000 times to get back to that. And I'm going to just do some simple triangular shapes. Control C, Control V, Object, Transform, Rotate. I want 90 degrees. And just for the sake of time, I'll probably just focus on this for today and maybe do another video showing this. But I think this more is a little bit more detailed. This is a pretty quick and clean logo to put together. But for the sake of time and keeping someone's attention, we're just going to do this really quick just to kind of wrap up that process of doing this logo design. So I've got these two together. I'm going to do a flush right, and then just to zoom out, top. So I know this corner up here is not off at all. So I'm just going to drag that back down. I might make this a little bit longer. Zoom in some so I can grab that. There we go. And let's just make this different color for now. Grabbing things I don't want to grab. And here's another thing too. If you want to, if you get frustrated and you keep grabbing things that you don't want to move, one thing you can do is select it, go to Object and Lock Selection. So now no matter what happens, you cannot grab this unless you go to Select, I'm sorry, Object, Unlock All, and it will unlock it. So let's take this. We're going to bring it over here, kind of like where that is. And I always like to do backup shapes. So we're going to do a Control C, Control V, bring that over here. Let's do our object, unlock all, so we can grab this, bring this over here, zoom in. I'm going to make this a solid shape, Pathfinder, and unite. Control C, Control V, object, transform, reflect. Okay. And you guys can probably tell what direction I'm going in here. And probably bring this in a little bit closer. I'm going to do a Control G, select all three. I'm going to just line these up so I can make sure everything is center. I'm going to probably bring this up just a tad. And then what I'm going to do is select all three of these, do my exclude, and I think the direction I'm going to go in is I'm going to backtrack a little bit so I have the opposite effect here. So let's do a Control Z. I'm going to turn this into a stroke, make it a little bit thicker. Let's just say 20. I'm going to do an object, expand. Okay. Now let's see if we can get the results I'm looking for. Exclude, bingo. That's what I'm looking for right there. So I'm just going to delete the elements around it. And so it looks like somehow this is not equal to that. So I'm going to go and backtrack a little bit just to see where I was off. And let's do the align one more time. And for some reason that looks like it's wanting to off center it some. So I'm not sure, even when I hit align, it's still throwing it off some. So what I'm going to do, just for the sake of time, is I'm just going to kind of eyeball that so they're about the same length. So I've got those selected. Do my exclude. Delete the objects around it. That looks pretty close to what I'm trying to get to. And the great thing about this is I've already got my 8-ball. So just go do a Control C, Control V, bring that in front. Maybe reduce that a little bit. Do a center alignment. They're lined up. And we're going to throw in these small accents just to see what that looks like. So a quick way to do that. And I'm just taking the pen tool here, and it's automatically kind of guiding me, Illustrator is, to lock on to these. So I've got my shape there. Let's just, for the sake of the tutorial, make that a different color. And it looks like he's got about 3 here, 3 little accent pieces. So what I'm going to do, and I really do like using the Pathfinder tool a lot. So I'm going to just do a square here. Or I should say a rectangle, excuse me. So this will be my first accent. Zoom in here. This will be my second accent. We'll call this one my third. So if I want to make sure that these elements don't get grabbed and modified or changed, what I would do is I would just select these. And there's several ways to do this, do design, guys. You know, there's more than one way to get somewhere. It's just taking the preferred path that you prefer to get there and it's easiest for you. But I'm going to select these because I don't want these to get changed or edited or deleted or anything like that. So I'm going to go to Object and again lock selection. So now when even if I take my cursor and I select all of this, it just selects these shapes, which is what I want. Pathfinder tool, exclude, I come in, delete what I don't want. And we're a little bit closer here. We're going to do one more. I just want to come out just a tad bit. Matter of fact, I probably come out to there. Do my exclude one more time. Delete what I don't want. I think that's a little bit closer to what we're moving towards here. And you know what? Let's just move that up a tad bit. Yeah, I like that. Let's go a little bit more. And guys, after some time goes by and we get to where we need to be as far as the approval of the logo, I'll come back in and make sure everything is lined up. You know, double check and make sure I've got true black here, everything's centered, so on and so forth. I'll clean up any kind of weird looking points, make sure all these lines are clean and smooth. But for the sake of time, you know, I'm going to just move through this kind of freely just to get my point across and, you know, get the logo done. So I'm going to select these, and instead of going back in and doing, you know, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for true black, I'm just going to take my eyedropper tool here and select that, and then I know that it is true black. So I'm going to take that, Control G just to make sure it's grouped, Control C, Control V, Object, Transform, Reflect, OK, and again Illustrator is kind enough to kind of help me out here. We're getting closer, but another way you can do this is to just up top grab a guideline and bring that graphic down there. And if you want to get rid of the guides, you can go to hide guides or clear guides. Let's go to clear guides just to get rid of it. I'm going to do a save here. File save just in case it crashes. And we are getting a little bit closer to what I think the customer had in mind. So let's stick with the Arial font here and throw our text in, and then we'll focus on our pool cue. So we've got table time, Arial. And I'm just kind of sizing it up to see what looks good. This is grouped together, so I'm just going to double click, Command X to grab it, Control F. Now, when you do this, it doesn't group it together. So what you've got to do is select it and Control G, group it together. And if you want to make sure that these are, perfectly level to each other, you go up here, vertical line, top tool. It's dragged it all the way to the top. I believe there's a feature to where it doesn't drag it all the way to the top and we'll just align it right there on the spot. But for the sake of time, we'll just drag it down for now. I don't think that looks horrible. I mean, I think it looks pretty close to what the customer had in mind. And I really do like this kind of triangular design. We'll keep this and then we'll come back and probably throw maybe an outline around it just to kind of see if that adds any oomph or flair to it. Okay, so now we're going to focus on putting in our pool cue element. So what I'm going to do, just grab the ellipse tool and I'm just going to hold shift, make a circle here, get our true black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I'm going to do that little trick earlier that I did with the triangle for our pool cue, or the tip of the pool cue. Pathfinder tool, exclude, don't need that. So I'm going to take that, shift, I'm holding shift to scale that down. And I don't want it to be edge to edge per se. I kind of like that dead space, or I don't know if you would call it dead space, or white outline there showing the separation between these two, especially if you have a single color logo. And then we're just going to have a rectangle here, kind of showing some separation of the cue, because that's kind of how the customer has it here. So this would be your white area of the cue, and then the remaining bottom part would be the actual, I guess, wooden part of the cue. But not everybody may understand that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag this off to the side here for a second, and I'm just going to play around with this and see what this looks like. So I just did a rectangle with a stroke. I'm going to bring it in some. And you could kind of perceive that as a cue. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to think about it because it may not be necessary. But I think there may be a better way to present this. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to backtrack here. Well, not necessarily backtrack, but go over here and grab our triangle. Control C, Control V. Let's make this a different shape for display purpose, or I'm sorry, different color for display purposes. Object arrange. Send this to the back. And I'm going to add a stroke here just so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm working towards. Let's go 80. Let's do object expand. Okay. Make that a solid shape. And we're not going to keep it green, but I kind of like the direction this is going. So let's do this one more time. Control C, Control F. Let's add a stroke. I'm going to do 80 again. Different color. Let's go true black. Object expand. Okay. And I just merged that, and I'm going to send this to the back. Object arrange, send to back. So let's change this to white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And now we can probably give a better impression of this as a pool cue. And I'm going to do this in 2 different colors to see if it comes across differently. Do an object unlock all. And I'm going to scale this down a little bit. Just set that there for now. Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to just reverse some of the colors on this. So just so I can see what's going on, let's just make this green. Let's make this a dark gray because that's going to be our new black. But I'm going to make it a dark gray just so I can see. Same thing here. Let's make these 2 white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And we'll pull this out for a second. Expand that. Turn these to true black. And then I don't necessarily think that you would need that, because now you've got the solid black, and then it looks like the pool cue is coming up the middle of the two T's to make contact with the 8 ball, which is what I think the customer was going for. And to be honest, I like this better than I do that. But, I'll just send it to them just so they can see. I'm also going to just scoot this 8 ball over a little bit. And again, guys, this is just a rough 8 ball that I put together. I'll go back in and make sure that it's polished and very neatly put together. And after looking at this, I think I'm going to incorporate a pool cue, just black, kind of going up the middle here. So what I'm going to do is just take my rectangle tool. Let's make it green for now, just right there. And just very quickly, I'm going to make a shape with my pen tool. Control C, Control F. Oh, hang on a second. Okay. Let's make this a different color. Control C, Control F. Object, transform, reflect. Okay. Bring that over. And I'm going to make this a solid shape, merge those two together. Let's backtrack here, Control Z. Control C, Control F, object, transform, reflect. Okay, let's try this one more time. Zoom in. Just kind of bring this point down. Bring that point down. Merge these two together. Delete what I don't need. Let's make this true black, but I'm going to use my pen dropper tool just to save a millisecond of time. And again, guys, this isn't perfectly symmetrical to that, but I will come back in and refine that. And yeah, I'd just like to see a little bit more maybe white space there. Let's bring our pool cue up, or the white part of the pool cue. I'm sure there's an official term for that, but we're just going to call it the white part of the pool cue. And then I want to bring this up. So a quick way to do this, instead of messing with the white arrow tool, the direct selection tool, and dragging this up, dragging that up, is what you can do is just do a Control C, Control F, and then it just brings that shape up to about right there. And then now you can merge those two to one solid shape. So you've got some sense of a pool cue. I don't like how thick that outline is, so let's reduce it some to maybe say 6. I think that feels a little bit better. And I think that is a good stopping point for now. And this is something that we can send to the customer as far as some solid design concepts. So I'll just bring this so you can see these three. So we've got our two T's in there. We've got our 8 ball. We've got the pool cue kind of coming up the middle. If I had to choose between the two, I kind of like this one a little bit more, but I'll send that to the customer just to see what they say. And um, fingers crossed, they may just say, hey, I like this. Don't even bother with that. Or if we do need to come back and they just want to see it, we'll probably make a video showcasing some of that. But that's just some of the quick tips and tricks that I would do for logo design. Um, I'll probably have some other videos that showcase gradients and a little bit more use of the pen tool and just some more fun shapes, but we kind of wanted to keep a clean, sleek, simple design for this logo because, it's pool and billiards and it's really not a subject criteria that's colorful and over the top. So with that being said, this is what we've done so far, and we will send this to the customer and see what they say.